Hello, Guild Warriors. Season 21 has come to a close, and so, as is tradition, I'll be going over the results of my defensive lineups. This video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be adding a bit of the findings from the first Blood games as well, since I didn't get to do that. So I'll be tacking into this video as the content from it wasn't really long enough to warrant its own video. So my guild is moving on up. We did enter the 1300s area. We were stuck in 1600s for way too long, but after getting rid of some deadweight, we're finally seeing some movement. This is the first season that I stopped manually recording our defensive results, and holy shit, it's very freeing. No more spreadsheets. I'm using Murky's Tacticus tracker, which is located here on tacticus.xyz. It's an awesome resource. The name of the game is Data, and Tacticus Tracker has a shit ton of that. You can track your guild's progress on Raid and War. You can use your War Squad Analyzer, which gives you some really cool insights on developing a defensive squad. You can even see the top offense and defensive squads in the game. And finally, if you follow Murky's handy-dandy tutorial, you can even upload your battle files into the site for you to review. So, since I did retire my spreadsheet, I wanted to share with y'all the top 5 rare and uncommon squads from seasons 15 through 20. These are sorted by highest average tokens per engagement. When I did this compilation and saw the results, I actually swapped my death ball to match, and it's been doing pretty solid ever since. Moving on to my personal lines. Taunt. With Taunt this season, I decided to flip out Boss G and replace him with Revas. Trying to put the Tau in Taunt, it did not pay off. GSC. I am curious to see how Neurothrope would do versus Lucius in this lineup. Checking Tacticus Tracker, it does show that the best lineup uses both Neurothrope and Wing Prime. And here we would replace Zibia and Pattermine. I don't have Pat anyway, so... Slapback Isabel. Changing out Sark for Ulf really paid off. Last season, we were sitting at 1.83 average. This is definitely a big improvement, and it's possible that this could become a popular core defensive unit in the future. Death Ball. For whatever reason, last season's Death Ball, which was getting a 3 token average, is only taking 1. So I flipped it out to a more conservative setup and got it back on track to a 2.66 average. Imp Ball. Imperial Ball was getting one shot. I wasn't too happy about that, so I decided to go a different route. My guildmate Gave runs this fun, heavy Overwatch team with Thaddeus buffing them. It normally posts a 2.0 token average, but alas, it didn't do too hot with me at a flat 1. In order to get better, you have to try different things. And when you try different things, you're going to look bad and you're going to fail. Failure is just a byproduct. It isn't our end product. So when we have these failures, when we get knocked down, when we get 1 tokened, we take a step back, we figure out why, and then we take action. With Tacticus Tracker, I can now clearly see what lineups are being used by the enemy. If I see that janky lineups are being used on them, I'll probably flip them out. If quality lineups are being used, I'm very much okay with that. We want defensive lineups that will force the enemy to deploy their GSC, to deploy their Blood Angels or their Death Ball. We want to see them bring out their Revas, because even if our line gets creamed, that's one less high-quality tool that the enemy has in their tool belt. So let's do a breakdown. For Taunt, we can see that it's attracting quality lines, most notably Revas and Death Balls. I'm going to stick Boss Chi back in here next season. And decades of memory-destroying marijuana use be damned. I need to remember to bring Boss G, goddammit. GSC is also pulling quality characters, so we're okay with that. The token average is a little low. I think I'm going to blame Lucy on this one. So what I'm going to do is flip back to Nids into the comp and see how that goes. Sorry, Luce. With Slapback, we can see what I was talking about earlier. The enemy was trying to get away with using janky lineups to clear this, and they paid the price dearly. It wasn't until the 3rd token that they wisened up and brought out their heavy hitters. There was one smart player who countered it with a full ranged lineup, which hard counters our heavy melee line to begin with. And then we can see in round 6 that it did handle some serious lineups. Again, reinforcing my feeling that this might be a decent defensive line. Another major factor is that this lineup isn't regularly encountered, so it's either being A, underestimated, or B, huh? The enemy doesn't know how to counter it. Heavy watch. Unfortunately, I only got a couple of rounds of data here, but about it getting one shot, look at these lineups. I don't feel too bad about it anymore. It forced the enemy to bring high quality lines, which is good in my book. After seeing this, I think it needs more testing, but I'm alright with taking it to another season for more data. I do want to go back to the blackboard with mech. As a mech enjoyer, I want to be able to field a viable option here. Unfortunately, with Boss G going back into the taunt line, it does limit what I would like to try, which was going for a Farsight and Boss G mix. But we'll figure something out and deploy mechs if Heavy Watch doesn't pan out at the start of next season. How did your lineups do? Join us in the Discord in the doodad below. We're always trying to figure out new strats and sharing our war results. Blood Games. Last month we held the first ever Blood Games with our champion squad being a blitz comp with a Celestine frontline by Wololo, Karn, Ragnar, Carrion, Boss G, Celestine. I'm wondering now if it might be worth carrying the champ squad into one of my lineups in the future. That could be fun. Some other takeaways. Volk and Chiron is a nasty Wamo combo. Check this out. This was from the match between Fabius versus Parker. Fucking what the?
Rumble crumble.
And a final thing to note from the Blood Games is a little spotlight on Boss G. I found out he might not be so willing to go to WA. Over 45 matches featured Boss G, and there were only 8 times where he slammed it down, making that a dismal 17% trigger rate on his WA. This was one of the main reasons why I took Boss G out of my taunt lineup, but since Revis underperformed, or rather got crushed, I'll be putting Boss G back in for now. Blood Games 2 will start up next week before Guild War. Signups are first come, first serve. The link for signups will be sent out in my Discord below. We did give out some substantial rewards for the first games. 60 non-mythic character shards of your choice for first place, 30 for second, and 15 for third. All you gotta do is select a team, and I do everything else. It's bot versus bot in a single elim tourney, and really all we do is watch to see what type of decisions these bots make. It gives us a good idea of what they might or might not do in Guild War. Alright y'all, that about wraps it up on this video. If you made it this far, good on you. Here's a code. Congrats. Enjoy. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Every 1,000 subs means you guys get another code, so please let your guildies and war masters know about the channel. If you really like my content, I have a Patreon in the doodad below. Thank you, patrons, for your support. Keep growing, keep strategizing, and as always, GG.